Welcome back to the TCR Show 2011, and I'm joined by a very special guest, Alex Flynn. And Alex, it's so lovely to have you here. I'm absolutely inspired by your story. You know, it is a story with a bit of difference, but at the same time, you know, inspirational and wonderful, and you look fit and well, and that's the main thing at the moment. But 2 years ago, you did have some quite bad news, didn't you?
Yeah, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And I just picked up a coffee cup and it changed my life. And off the back of it, I've decided to run over 10,000 kilometers, or as I've coined it, 10 million meters, in some of the toughest races around. And it's taken me some amazing adventures. And hopefully I'll raise £1 million for Parkinson's research.
And did you do sport before you found out you had Parkinson's?
Yeah, I've always been slightly obsessive about sport.
Which helps, it helps.
I believe it or not, skinny frame, I used to bodybuild, and running and cardiovascular exercises stripped me of that, which is a good thing, because I couldn't do what I'm doing now, carrying that kind of weight around. I used to run at school, and I used to be very proactive in sport at school, so I was always up for a challenge, and now my challenges seem to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And at the same point in time, it allows me to raise awareness of Parkinson's, especially young onset Parkinson's, which, believe it or not, most people think Parkinson's is about old people and shakiness and stuff, and in reality it's about rigidity, and it affects people of any age. I mean, the youngest I've ever heard of was a 9-year-old girl. So, you know, there's a lot of awareness, I think, that needs to be brought to the fore, and also maybe inspiring people who maybe have other debilitating diseases or who just don't exercise to get up and do something, and exercise and move and keep moving and make change happen.
Alex, we'll obviously talk about the money that you're raising, which is absolutely amazing. But how does it affect your sport and your training, your Parkinson's? Or are you able to kind of pretty much get on with what you want to do?
I mean, there are days when my medication doesn't work. I mean, today I'm having a pretty good day. I mean, that hand is moving a bit, but in general, that's very good.
Do you think the sport helps?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I think mentally, for everybody, sport helps. You know, it produces endorphins that make you feel fantastic. They bring out good mood, and being fit and active and healthy and using your body for everybody is a good thing. But especially for me with Parkinson's, if I don't move, I've got this fear that I'm going to lose it. And put it this way, I do a 50-mile run. I don't shake. I don't shake, and that's just natural medication, you know, so it can only help. I'm sure of that.
So just tell me a little bit about how you've gone about raising the money and the races that you've been doing to get you to that £1 million point.
Okay, well, I'm currently a bit far off £1 million, but hopefully with the races in the future that'll be a different matter. But I've undertaken the Ridgeway 85, which is a great run. Actually, I think it's probably one of the hardest runs that I've had to do. I've done part of the Grand Union, but I got to about 119 miles.
The Grand Union is? The
Grand Union Canal, all the way from Birmingham to London. I did
just for anyone who doesn't know.
119 miles of that, but I thought better of it. I thought if I carried on and did the last marathon, I'd end up injured, so pulled out of that. I'm the first Parkinson sufferer to complete the Marathon des Sables. I've done the Europe 135, 135 miles across the Bavarian Alps. I've recently done the Dubai Marathon, which I think actually for a marathon, psychologically, because it's just one straight road out and one straight road back, is actually mentally a hell of a lot tougher than most people give it credit for. So that was an interesting run. I've done a bunch of different 50 milers and 45 milers, including the Thames Trot last weekend. But my main race this year is a 1,521 mile run from London to Rome in 30 days.
So how many miles a day does that average?
50 miles a day, every single day, without rest.
What's the preparation? What sort of preparation are you doing for that?
You can't. I mean, I've got the Ridgeway, the back end of the Ridgeway, down about half an hour from where I live, which is a nice off-road, bit of running, bit of trail work. So I'm going to be running the 40 miles to Avebury, overnighting it, then 40 miles back. Doing that a couple of weekends on the trot, so I'm getting the distance back to back. I'm doing a lot of cross training. That also helps with my triathlon training coming up later in the year. I've got the Henley Challenge.
That's going to be your first Ironman event,
yeah,
or Ironman distance event, yeah.
Which I'm a bit nervous about. I have a morbid fear of water. I almost drowned when I was 5, so yeah, swimming is a big issue for me, and I've been working really hard with a guy called Russ Cox, who's a really experienced triathlete, who's been giving me great tips, really good coaching, and has brought my confidence on with water a huge amount. I don't actually panic anymore, which is...
Just as well, you've got to swim 3.8k in the Thames.
Thames. I've got plans to run across the USA, 3,000 plus miles. Somebody actually pointed out that there's a nice little run that you can run from Singapore up through Malaysia, through Thailand and out to Hong Kong. So I might be factoring that into the equation at some point. I'd like to do a lot more triathlons and a couple of little sprints later this year just to get the transition training working for me, because I found that on the London Tri last year my transition training was pants, completely pants. So it's a learning curve, and I'm looking forward to it.
So have you put a deadline on when you want to raise £1 million by? I mean, it's a lot of money, so whether it's 10 years, 10 months?
Yeah, I'd like to do it by 2014, in all honesty. I've got to set a date on it, otherwise it kind of drags. Will I do 10 million meters in that time? Absolutely. Will it be probably more than that? Yes. By the way that I'm getting into different races all the time at the moment, my distance, if you exclude the training, will probably be in excess of 10 million meters. But it's just going to be a fantastic journey, an amazing adventure, and realising £1 million, even though in the scheme of getting drugs to market for drug treatments for Parkinson's, is not a huge amount of money. It's more of a statement, and if we can galvanise people together and get people to join in with my adventure, then that would be just fantastic, wouldn't it?
Absolutely amazing. So where do people need to go if they want to firstly donate and secondly find out more about you?
Both things can be found through my website at Alex Flynn, alexflynn.co.uk. And I have a Just Giving site as well, but that has there's a button on every page of my website that you can donate from directly and securely to my Just Giving to the Cure Parkinson's Trust, which is the charity that I'm running for.
Alex, thank you so much. And just to repeat that again, it is Alex Flynn, that's FLYNN.co.uk. You can go and find out more about Alex, what he's doing, the amazing work and all the money he's raising, and hopefully donate some yourself. Thanks very much, Alex.
Thank you. Thanks very much.